Next here is going to be ONCO. That's your ticker. This is ONCO. Now, really, so this has actually also had a pretty good move. Here's moved up towards 7. This had a Form 8, and that Form 8 was outlining a 1-for-5 reverse split with its new float being 692,000 shares. So we got a micro float stock now here. You can see this thing moved from split adjusted here, obviously 3 to 7, came back in. We actually did get a pretty nice move off the 65 EMA already today. That actually ripped through VWAP as mentioned here. Let me actually redraw it on this chart. I didn't trade this because I generally don't trade pre-market. I'm just busy doing other things. But check this out. We look at the fair value gap. Look at the fair value gap. We came into it. We also aligned with that 65 EMA. This ripped back through the VWAP. We actually back tested the range of the gap here, and we're at VWAP now. So I'm curious to see how this resolves. I know Brent was trading this earlier. Grats to anyone else that might have hit this, but I would not be shocked if we have another trade forming up here, especially with that low float. Quick peek at the short interest. This is going to be off a little bit. Because of the adjustment here. I would think that, looking at this, it's probably closer to 15, 16%. If I'm just doing some napkin math by looking at the float and then the percent of float shorted here, just kind of estimating. We have not got a new print since the reverse split took place. So I'm going to estimate there 16, 17% of the float shorted, 1 day to cover. There's some in there. I don't know how much it's going to actually come into play here. On average, stock trades 77,000 shares. Today, it's done 10.3 million. And as mentioned, that float just under 700K now. 13, what do you think here on ONCO?
I'm not convinced that the news here, the way it's moving, is off of the reverse split. The reverse split happened on the 25th, so 2 days ago. And since then, on that actual same day, they had some news that I think is actually driving this higher. We did get some volume that was a little elevated, so I think we could be seeing a little bit of relative volume. But I think this news we got on Wednesday was the big driver that we're seeing here, because what they did is you remember the whole 6G list of names that I gave?
Oh yeah,
one of those is Ericsson, and on the 25th on March this company Onyx what is this called
OnCo.
This company pointed to this demonstration with a robot that's was purchased by Ericsson, that was made by Realbotics Corp, and Realbotics is the company that's being acquired by OnCo. And the OnCo specifically pointed to this demonstration because Ericsson is featuring this pre-standard 6G over-the-air trial conducted with this robot. It happened here in not here in Plano. I'm not in Plano, but it happened here in Texas. This is they wanted to highlight the capabilities of Realbotics because they are acquiring them. So I think that's the real big news here, is that this is this company has acquired a company that is working in humanoid robots with Ericsson using 6G. This is something that I think we should be keeping a close eye on. The company does have cash, but they have very little revenue, and they did do a 1-for-5, like I already mentioned earlier, the reverse split. So now they have 714,000 shares in the float, resulting in that really wild size short interest. So that's what I think is really driving this higher. Yes, the reverse split absolutely helps makes this easier to move around, but the news with the acquisition, I think, is the bigger piece of news here right now.
All right, so we get that little delayed reaction then. We've seen that before on some of these pieces of news as well. Cool.
Yeah, and we did get some movement on that news, but I think it was a little bit more muted than it was today. I think we're seeing a little bit more relative volume, and now it's gonna. And there was also it was also halted too when this news and the reverse split happened. So I don't think we saw a whole lot of pre-market movement that day. Anyway, right now the stock has recaptured its VWAP. I'm looking for this thing to come back up towards 585. That appears to be the big resistance area this morning. So if we can hold above this VWAP here as we approach the open, it looks like we could take out 585. And if we do climb higher than that, because it looks like we're setting up a bit of a triangle pattern here, we break out of the symmetrical triangle, retake 585. I'd be looking at 660 as the next possible upside target, maybe 7 after that.
Okay, cool. That gives us some targets to go after. We might have some movers on our hands. Really good stuff there. 13, really, really good.